So welcome. It is Tuesday, March 17th, and I'm here with Brother Sage and Ana Seahawk, and we're having a discussion today about nebulizing and Shivambu. And this is partially because I've had questions from people, and because I have only done this once, I decided to bring in two people who I know have done this many times and have talked about it and have shared why they think it's a great practice. So I'm really, really pleased today to bring in Brother Sage for the first time on my channel, which this should have happened a long time ago. I've been a guest on his channel for various things and taken his course where he really takes you through his book in detail. If you're looking for a course with a lot of detail that also has a book to go with it, highly recommend. There's the book. You can find that on Amazon and other places, or get in touch with Brother Sage directly. So Brother Sage, welcome. And then Ana Seahawk, who she and I have been talking for a couple of years back and forth on each other's channels and having some what we thought were some very sort of, basic discussions, but it turns out lots of people like them and now people expect us to have them. So it's really lovely to have you as well. Ana, thank you for being here, both of you.
Aloha.
Aloha. So I'd like to jump in because I'm assuming at this point, most people who are joining us today know who you both are, or if they don't, they can look you up and figure it out, or look on my channel and look around and see that. But if you'd like to introduce yourself anymore or talk about what you do or how you got to nebulizing, you can, or we can just jump straight into what is it about Shivambu that makes it really good for nebulizing? And Brother Sage, if you'd like to jump in there first.
I would love to, and thank you for the request. Nebulizing is a way to get the orin, some people call urine orin or Shivambu, further into the respiratory tract, sinus areas, because a device, everybody seems to have a different nebulizer brand. Don't ask me the brand, but what it does is it has this fine mesh in it that converts it from liquid to vapor. And so it's small particulates. Don't ask me if it's nano or pico size, but they're small enough to break in through the membrane, not only into the respiratory tract, but higher up into the blood-brain barrier. So it's able to reach the 5 sinus areas, go and nourish and decalcify the brain. It has a lot of potential. Now, most people know this for nebulizing through the nose. However, since this is such a lovely spray of vapors, what's fun to do is exfoliate your face, feather it over your eyelids, and just have a great time with it. So it's whatever you want to use it for, other than just respiratory tracts.
It's really good. And so we were comparing ours before. We all have very similar devices, but for people who don't know, the back opens, you put just under a tablespoon in there. It's about 10 milliliters is what generally goes in them. Yep. You put it in there, you close it again. And you can run it first with water as well, just to give it a try. Although they say don't use distilled water in these. And then you charge them, and they charge these days with a USB cable, and then you press go on the front and it lights up. Now I have nothing in mine, so there's 3 different speeds on mine. So I'm not going to let it run, but then you either put this in your mouth and breathe, or as we were all comparing as well, we have the little face masks, and you can put these on and breathe. Okay. So Ana, coming to you, what brought you to nebulizing?
Yeah, actually what really kind of brought me to nebulizing was living in a place that had a mold problem. Actually, this was the beginning of that. And just my partner, Olivier Lee, he had a lot of respiratory issues, like just sleeping and general issues, but like lying down was an issue for him. And he always had to be like have a pillow and sort of sitting up. And then when we got into this place that had this mold problem, I was like, wow, we need to travel with a nebulizer because we noticed when we were boiling, I do reduced plasma for a topical other subject, but when the vapor is coming off it, it's like, oh, that feels good. And even when we're doing it in the shower and stuff, when you're working with aged, it's like you feel like you want like a sauna with it at some point.
Mhm.
So that's what kind of triggered it to have this experience.
Mm. And then, so going back to like beyond just the physical machine, because these are little machines. Now you can also get a larger machine that plugs into the wall that is just it's a different way of doing it. And some people who've been given a specific product to nebulize by a doctor, or there's something that they're supposed to work with, they might have a machine that plugs into the wall, for example. Both will work. And so they're fine. The only thing with Shivambu, if you're doing plasma or Shivambu in these, is that I've done this, I would have done it anyway, but someone said, make sure you rinse it with water because the Shivambu can get a little sticky inside. But you learn that the more you work with Shivambu, that anything you put it in, it's good to rinse it because it's so strong. It's going to react with whatever you put it on, into, next to, around, etc. So
Yeah.
rinse things out. So Brother Sage, coming into when did you start nebulizing, or what drew you to it, and what did you find when you did it?
Yeah, as the universe tends to work in my life, when I'm supposed to know about something or discover something, it will be revealed to me. So I had been using, now I'm old school. I started my wellness practice in 1979. So old school was using a humidifier, a diffuser with essential oils, those kind of things that improve the quality of the air and pull out bacteria and contaminants out of the air. So that's how I was using it. I was demonstrating in my books and in classes. And here comes my son, Chitta Senna. You know Matt?
Yeah.
You know he's my adopted son?
Well, I've heard you say that before, but yeah.
Yes. What a dear. So he introduces me to the nebulizer.
Ah,
And, and I recognize exactly what its potential was and bought one and been using it. And I found out the very first thing is when you're breathing it up your nose, it's like putting aged urine in your nose. There's a sting, which indicated dry sinuses. So after a while of getting used to that and my body getting accustomed to it, I look forward to it. So it's lovely to have these actually wet inside and to be able to feel like there's clarity inside your brain.
yeah. So have you nebulized with fresh and aged?
Basically, there's that word aged. It has a
Evolved.
lot of
Yeah.
evolve. And what I mean, it has a lot of variables about how to measure whether it's a 4-day version or a 1 year.
Yes.
I tend to use either mixed or fresh.
Okay. And yeah, so just to clarify, I mean, again, most people who are watching this, I think at this point have watched some videos somewhere before this, but maybe you're encountering this video. It's your first one on Shivambu. So just in case, go watch other videos. I have many, Brother Sage has many, Anna has many, other people have them as well. So the reason I say that is that a lot of other videos go into what, why, when, how, etc. That's not this one. But on the topic of aged urine or evolved Shivambu, whatever, evolved, just taking that idea of it gains in potency, it doesn't age and decay. There is a difference between 2-week-old, 1-month-old, 9-month-old, 2-year-old. They all have a personality and they're all interesting and beautiful in their own way. And often when they're older, we tend to mix them because they're so an aged can be very intense in a stronger or very an internal way. Any mucous membrane will probably react strongly to evolved. So that's one of the things that we do. And Anna and I were laughing earlier and just saying there are no rules with Shivambu, but there are suggestions from the people who have gone before us and the wisdom that they have gained. And so there's no one way to do this. I see some vapors, Anna.
Lovely.
There's no one way to do any of this, but a lot of us have learned the hard way, and we're trying to share with you the things that we've learned so you can decide how intense you want your journey to be.
Yes, and how smooth you want it to be.
Yes. Yeah. Um, Yes.
Yeah, I love that idea of intensity. I had to click mine on. I didn't want to run it dry, so I
Yeah.
put some in there. And
Yeah, show some vapor.
yeah, so my this is actually sometimes I just run it like this.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Mine actually has like a slow, medium, and high. That's
Me
like the
too.
slow. There's medium, and then maybe you can't see, but there's like a lot more
Yes.
coming out now.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
then mine has a timer that it runs for 20 minutes,
Mm,
which I don't recommend.
mm.
I think people like, well, start slow. I don't recommend anything. Do whatever you think. I'm not recommending nothing. But in my experience, I did 20 minutes. I was like, oh, let's be the heroic dose. And um, yeah, you can, it's like doing a week of fasting on plasma or something, like then that intensity. And my body went into like detox mode and it was like way too much. I had like backaches and I felt like I had the flu and um which actually kind of intrigued me. I'm like, oh my gosh, like you kind of want to, I think somewhere along the way, you can run into like detox mania.
Yeah.
And that sort of happened to me. I was like, oh, I need to push all of this out. If I had this experience, I need to do it more. And I've since dialed way back on that. And now I think even just that would be enough for some people.
Yeah, thank you for
Few
bringing that
a
up.
few breaths. A few breaths. You don't even have to put it in your mouth. You can just be beside it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, bathe in its aura. There you go.
Yeah.
What did
So
And
you want to
thank
say?
you.
slow is better. Slow is way better than feeling like you need to push something out of your body. Like just be easy with yourself.
Yeah. What did you want to say, Brother Sage?
It's a great reminder. It's also a good metaphor to be kind and gentle with yourself. We've gone through the extreme part of living and eating how we ate and been around chemicals and poison, this and that, to get where we are. And so we don't have to be full out military style, challenge ourselves. Be kind and gentle. And the body, by the way, has its own timeline. I love it when people say, well, how long will it take using Shivambu to heal this, that, and the other thing? I said, well, it's required faith and patience, and the body's in charge of the timeline. Communicate with it well, and that time can accelerate.
Yeah, absolutely. For
Yeah, and actually enjoy the journey. Be able to actually enjoy the journey. Like
Yeah.
dial it back so that you can still have a good time.
yeah. So one thing, just because I've done this once and I decided to do it with fresh, also just because I was like, let's just see. I only got this 2 weeks ago, so that's why I've done it once. Um, and I did it with fresh. I did it for about 5 minutes. Maybe it might have been 10 just because it actually kept shutting off. And so I kept having to start it. So somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes, let's say. And it was very pleasant. I felt like everything was, nicely, not hydrated exactly, but it was a good amount of vapor. And the only thing I noticed was in the half hour after I stopped, I could feel that there was something running from my sinuses down my throat a little bit. It was very gentle. There was no adverse reaction. There was no coughing. There was no sneezing. I didn't need a box of tissues. It was very, very gentle. And I've been cleaning out my sinuses with Shivambu for 13 years. So I wasn't expecting a big thing to happen because I've exposed that part of my body to Shivambu a lot. However, someone in my community recently mentioned, and this person has had, they would say that one of their weak spots in their body is their lungs. They've had a lot of issue with their lungs their whole life. They've done lots and lots of things to heal the lungs. They've come a long way. They were really happy. actually with where the lungs were. And then they nebulized with Shivambu, and a whole bunch of mucus came out, and it was very, very colored. Lots of color going on in the mucus and large amounts of it. And they were shocked that that amount of stuff was still in there after every other type of methodology they'd done to help heal the lungs. And they were also thrilled that it came out, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so now that person, one of the things that they said was, for the first time in their life, and this person, I'm assuming is, I mean, definitely over 40, might be over 50, they demonstrated, they said, watch me, I can take a full breath. And
Wow.
they really went, and they said they, until they worked with Shivambu, they had never taken a full breath the way they're now experiencing it. And so this is one of the things, just to point out to people that, like, I've been doing this, you know, for the years I've been doing it, and because my lungs are just, that's not my issue. I can almost always take a full breath. When I nebulize, it's pleasant. Yes, I'll keep doing it. I will try it with the aged. I will enjoy it, but it's not dramatic. But somebody who
Yeah,
has something
those
might find,
sometimes things that aren't dramatic, like, just doesn't mean they aren't doing something.
no,
So I'm
exactly.
curious to
Right.
see, as your journey goes along with this, that, sometimes we do something for like 6 months and we're like, oh, you know what? Actually,
Yeah.
that is feeling like it's shifting something. So
Yeah.
we don't
Mhm.
always need to have like this instant gratification, like,
Mhm.
oh, it's working.
No.
Like, of course
Yeah.
it's working. If you're breathing it in, it's working.
Yeah.
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 We
You can't,
expect the
you
big
can't,
wow.
yeah, you can't drink a cup of coffee and not be hit with caffeine. Whether you feel it or not is another.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I here on Kauai, my lungs are pretty clean, and I've been doing the same thing as long as you guys have. And the only thing that irritates me is when the fog blows from the volcano on the Big Island, and nobody has to tell me there's fog in the air. I feel myself coughing, and I'm going, "It's fog." So those are the kind of things that would irritate my lungs.
Yeah. And for you, like, either working with people or your own experience, is there, I mean, generally I would say to people, feel into which protocol you want to use on any given day. Use your intuition, talk to your body. But in order to say, like, when do you try it? Because people today, this is the other difference. At least I'm not sure with Anna in terms of how much she found, but like when Brother Sage was starting doing urine therapy, there were some books potentially, but there were not videos to watch. When I was starting, there were no Facebook groups or Telegram groups or anything. I was relying
None
on
of them.
as well. And so I came across protocols one at a time as I read about them or I heard, and then eventually, like 5 years in, then I started finding groups where people were talking about things that I hadn't read in books yet. So now people are getting access to every type of protocol right away, and they can be a little overwhelmed with which one am I supposed to try?
None of them. You're not supposed to do anything. But yeah.
So, but this is one of those questions of like, there's so many
Which
things
one?
so many things you can do with Shivambu that don't involve a product you have to buy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I'm not
A
saying
jar. Yeah, just
you
a
don't need a
jar.
nebulizer. You really don't.
Right. Yeah.
And
These,
yeah, go ahead, Brother Sage.
these are what we would call accessories or add-ons or supportive devices that you can use as new ways to deliver these sacred waters and nutrients into the body. One thing I like to remind people is that there's no rules or dogma you have to follow.
Yeah.
There's no after effects, there's no side effects. You can't hurt yourself. The only way you can do it wrong is if you quit.
And so,
And
yeah,
the people that I work with, that they come to me because they have the incurable, or they're helpless and they're scared and they know the medical profession is not trustworthy. They reach out, and so you guys are their safety net to get them back on solid ground, to assure them their body knows exactly what to do. And here's some directions you can go: watch a video, read a book, take a class. and have faith in your body to do its job well.
Yeah, and I think all these different it's not really protocols. It's like just you could think of it as like ways to approach the matter.
Mhm.
And some people are like really turned off by drinking it and but they're used to doing enemas. And so it's like different ways of engaging.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And even if it's just like when people come to me and ask like, "Oh, how do I start?" I'm like, "Well, start by just collecting it and like looking at it and being curious about it and interact with it, not
Just
not
like
with
that.
like
Just like
contact, like just like yeah, just like it's a house plant, you know." And however way it is, like in however way it comes, and if your first time nebulizing it, all it is
Yeah.
just being in the same space, like that's also
Mm.
uh good. So there's no right or wrong, and there's no should or should not, or
Yeah.
yeah,
And
there's like a menu of all these different things that you can try. And I think as practitioners, like at the sort of like, well, the level we're at, we're the really curious ones. We're like, oh, what is that going to feel like if I do it this way? What will happen then? And you just get curious the more into this you get, and next thing you know, you're wiping your walls with it.
or
I
your
don't mean that literally, like diluted, properly, but yeah, you can do a lot of different things with it. It's just wild.
yeah, you don't want to tell people you're disinfecting your bathroom with your urine. Even though there'd been times when I started doing enemas at the beginning of this journey, the tube would pop out of me or something would spill and there's urine on the floor. Instead of reacting, I would break out laughing because I realized I just cleaned the floor.
Totally.
It's
Totally.
so funny. It's
So
so funny.
it's a mindset, and I wanted to add to what you said. When I'm teaching people baby steps, and they still have the disgust factor in their mind, they still have those ideas popping or bouncing around. First thing you want to do is you want to build a new pathway of a new perception of it. So if they can just collect it and hold it, these are baby steps. Collect it and hold it. Notice that came out of you, and that might be valuable to you,
Mhm.
right? And then I'll take them. Hey, put your finger in it. Hey, notice you didn't get sick or die. I'm always adding humor to this conversation because it's controversial. So you want to step them into the place where they're going, I'm comfortable. I'm more comfortable now.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's I mean, people might think this sounds silly, but I use that notice you didn't die thing a lot too. In that, even just, if people are like, well, how do I start drinking it? I'm like, well, first try it. Can you rub it on your body? And if you can, great. And you
Yeah.
didn't die. And so then can you take one drop and put it under your tongue
Oh, yeah.
and then notice you didn't die? Great. Huge steps. But it's funny, I use that sentence too, because it does bring the humor and people are like, oh, right. Like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen?
And you help them drop their defenses.
Yeah. And
Very valuable.
right. And it has to be humorous.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
You can't work it just, there's too many jokes in the
It
world.
is like a comedy act. The first time you go to drink that, it's like for real. Like
I'm doing what?
it's a lot to dial back.
Well, and the
When
weirdness is, yeah.
my first cup that I drank, I heard Santos Bonacci actually talk
Very
about
nice.
it, and I didn't know much about him. That was it. There was this astrology thing, and I was like, ooh, and then he got into the Shivambu, and I was like, his experience, I was like, say what? And there I was, not an hour late, like the next time I could have the experience, I was doing it, and it was very comical for me. I was laughing, and it was probably one of the most funniest moments in my life that you have with yourself.
Is so different for me because I learned about it, started putting on my body right away. My skin changed right away. It took me 6 months to drink it. And in
Yeah.
those 6 months, I had a shot glass in the bathroom and I tried and tried, and I would sit there and it was in there and I just couldn't do it. But when I did do it, I don't even remember. I
Mm.
know because I remember what happened afterwards because I looped all of it for like 3 days, and then and then I got the healing crisis of about 5 days of all the symptoms of all the colds I'd ever
Oh
had,
my God.
and that never happened again. But so I remember what happened after, but I don't actually remember what happened when I drank it the first time.
Wow.
And
And
so,
actually, that was what I did the first time too. Actually, I did 3 days fasting on it.
mhm,
Boom, right then.
yeah,
Yeah. So much changed in my body. I was like, whoa, okay, okay. Now we're playing the game.
Brother Sage, what was your first drink of it like, or do you remember?
Of course I remember, yeah. And it was a God thing. Um, my urine therapy Bible was Golden Fountain by Cohen Vanderkroon,
Mm-hmm.
which is a classic. And he had it all, it was all technical, and he had pictures, and he talked about the protocols, and he had some science, and it was just, that was it. And I studied it a lot. But then here comes Leonard Orr's book on the secrets of youthing and how he healed everything. Well, him and I are connected to Babaji, and he knows Babaji as Shiva, the Hindu Lord of the universe. I said, if it's good enough for these guys, it's good enough for me. So I didn't have to like juggle my brain around to get to that point. I just said, let's see what happens. All right. And I felt the tingling. I felt my brain start to show up or get online. I'm going, I got to go deeper into this, see where this goes. And like you said, there was no social media in 1994,
Mm-mm.
right? I didn't even know a way to contact authors, much less a teacher. And then here comes the social media. And what was it, 2017? I discovered 20 of them on Facebook. And this is what like kicked off my career, because I got a transmission of a book, and before I realized it, 8 years later, I'm a big mouth about this water, and really loving it.
Yeah. One of the things too I wanted to mention, because you mentioned that you can just you sort of spray it on your face, and Anna said the same thing, that you can just hold it up and breathe it. And of course you can use a diffuser. If you have an oil diffuser, you can put Shivambu in that as well. Again, just make sure you run water through it afterwards, because
Yep.
it's gonna eat into that thing. A friend of the family, uh, in her 70s, went to the doctor in the last 2 years, and the doctor said, "Oh, your lung capacity has gone down by like 80%. We're going to have to intervene." And she was shocked because she thought, I haven't changed anything. I'm feeling okay. I don't understand what's going on. And they did some more tests, and she was really getting upset about this. She went to the eye doctor and happened to mention it because she was so upset by this news, and she'd just gotten it. Went to the eye doctor, I don't know, it was a week later or 2 weeks later. And the eye doctor said, well, you have these drops that you use for your eyes, right? And he mentioned whatever brand. And she said, yeah. And he said, a known side effect of that is reduced lung capacity. But if you stop with those eye drops, your lungs will come back. And her doctors didn't ask her anything about, are you taking anything else? The eye doctor made the connection. She stopped the drops, her lungs came back up. Now, I don't think she was at 100 to begin with, but she wasn't at 20%. She was at something, reasonable for her health, her age, what she assumed. And so one of the things that I've pointed out to people before, is that they think if they put, drops of fresh urine in their eyes, it's only affecting their eyes. The drops in your eyes are affecting your sinuses and your ears and your throat and your lungs.
And your limbs. Yeah.
And your limb. Yeah. And so if you're nebulizing and it's going, and that mist is getting all through here, then the access to your lungs is not just through you breathing it in your mouth. The access to your lungs is through the eyes, the nose, the mouth, and maybe the skin as well, in that sense.
Yeah, where are the barriers? Who knows? Like,
It's also finding its way into the bloodstream, which will carry it everywhere.
Yeah.
yeah, and when you put aged in your mouth, you're breathing that in. Like you're swallowing it, but the
Vapors.
you're kind of nebulizing, what drinking is sort of nebulizing in a way.
Yeah. And
Yep.
I mean, I have aged in spray bottles everywhere now. That's just something I tend to do. And of course, too, you can, put it on your hand, but then even as you breathe that in, it's obvious. And then of course you can just rub it right on your face. Very easy with that.
Yeah. Guys, I want to show
I
you the
still have
next
to laugh.
I want to show you the next generation of devices that one of the students turned me on to, and I've
Love
been
it.
at this so much. I
Oh
carry it in my
boy.
hip pack. I carry it in, I teach it in classes. I'm often seen in public places like the library or whatever using this device. And it's one of these roll-on
Yes.
bottles that people put essential oil in with the metal roller.
Yep.
And you can be anywhere at any time and feel like a secret agent putting urine on your face and nobody knows what you're up to. And so these are just really handy to have with you.
Fantastic. Yes, and a lot of health food stores carry those empty and you can fill them up. I don't have one of those at the moment with that in it. I did have some in Canada. I've just moved recently. But I had same size, a technically it's a like a mini spray bottle, but it was made for perfume. Like that's
Yeah.
what the company was calling it, was a perfume bottle. But inside there was a little glass vial, and then the glass vial screwed on and went inside a metal container. And I loved that the Shivambu was being held in glass,
Yeah.
like one you just had. And I carry that thing everywhere, the little perfume sprayer. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'll, like, if I'm traveling on a plane, I'll spray a tissue and then I'll wipe down the stuff around me, like if I'm sitting inside a plane. But I also can do a spray up each nostril.
Yeah.
And no, again, nobody knows what I'm doing. And this is the other thing. People are going, but the smell. I recently had a friend in her 20s say, how old is that? I said, this is about 2 years old and it's in a little spray bottle. And she said, what does it smell like? And I sprayed it on my hands, did a quick
Uh,
rub and held them out to her. And she laughed out
you can
loud.
tell.
She said, it smells like flowers.
I love it. Oh my goodness.
So this is the other thing too. Just, I mean, you can just imagine people being like, what does it smell like? There's something too about when it's nebulized or sprayed or in a diffuser, the smell changes radically.
Yeah, and over time, the smell changes radically too. Like, wow, what a
I,
difference.
I just got a name for the flower. If somebody asks you, tell them it's the sacred golden lotus flower.
I'm writing it down. Sacred golden lotus. Okay. Love it.
Similar to the blue lotus, but this is our golden lotus.
Absolutely. So anything else in terms of, if someone's like, what are the tips on how to nebulize? Was one thing I
I
heard
think
was
we've,
you can go slowly, try it for a minute. Try first, you could even just have it around you. Then you could try doing a minute. You could try doing 5 minutes. Fresh is going to be a little bit more gentle on your system. It will be more gentle. If you want to try aged or evolved for some reason, the suggestion would be to start by mixing it. And we're talking like these chambers hold 10 milliliters, which is 2 teaspoons. So you might do a quarter of it as evolved.
yeah, I think you can start with just getting the nebulizer screen wet, like
Yeah.
up above that volume. You don't need to
Yeah, well,
do a
I mean, you
lot
can
your
also
first
fill it and you
initial.
don't have to use everything in it. That's sort of, I mean, that's what I did.
Sure.
I filled it to 10 and then I didn't use it all. I just
Mm.
did 5 minutes. But in terms of having enough in there to run it, or if you don't know what you're doing, it's fine to, put in the 10 and then just do a minute, do 2 minutes, do 5 minutes. And as you heard, when Joanne did 20 minutes, sorry, I said Joanne, Anna did 20 minutes, the it involved needing to sleep it off for a number of hours. So this is one of those things with Shivambu that if you dive in deep, your body could be having a great time, but you might need to sleep. And if you have things planned for the rest of your day,
Yeah.
it could get in the
Change
way
them.
of your plans. Yeah, you might change your plans. So that's another reason we suggest going slowly, because we've all experienced needing to change our plans, potentially taking a week off work. Like things have happened, you know, not just from nebulizing, but from Shivambu in general. Brother Sage, any other tips or yeah,
Urine is our friend.
absolutely.
I like to look at urine a lot. Shivambu is what I'm used to calling it, as more of a spiritual gift or a presence that Shivambu has a consciousness and a and a presence all unto himself. It's as if there is a God fluid that exists in the pineal gland, but in this case, the urethra and the bladder, that can give you back and resurrect your body and your brain if you will just be consistent with it. The main thing about this practice is its consistency, its daily use, one or more of the protocols. It's not a hit or miss thing. It's not a kind of thing go, oh, I forgot it, or I can't tell you how many people have come back into this work who went on a vacation for 5 to 10 years, and then they realize it was the best thing ever, and why did they fall off? And so that'll be the best thing anybody can do for you. And one thing I would say, I know I might venture off into a political thing here, but there's a tipping point that's going to take place when enough people reclaim their body and use their water and heal themselves and become sovereign. We won't need the medical industry. That's a game changer right there. And you wouldn't have to worry about running out of food supply. You have it in a liquid form.
Yeah. So this whole notion too, that it's like, Shivambu is deep hydration and deep nourishment.
Exactly.
And it's deep spiritual nourishment.
Mm-hmm.
And so we all know that when we are deeply nourished at a spiritual level, that brings us joy. When we're in a state that's more joyful, we don't require as much of other things to feed us because we're feeding ourselves from within.
Yep.
And so that's part of what starts to happen. And if you're listening to this going, I'm at the beginning, I'm not sure what they're talking about. Some people find it the first time they work with Shivambu. For some people, it comes a little bit more slowly. But the whole notion of allowing yourself to be sustained by something your body produces that you already experienced in the womb is just in and of itself a spiritual thing, because you are fully accepting who you are and how you are in that moment.
Yes, and it gives it a new understanding or definition of the world, of the word or the phrase, the holy temple. The body is a temple of light, a temple of aliveness. And for everybody who's going to watch this after this is recorded, a temple of laughter.
Yeah, absolutely. And this notion of light, though, too, because if we go back to all the spiritual traditions, end up talking about light.
Yeah, and frequency.
And so we see, for example, in Fiona Gardner's work, and if you don't know her work, Messages in Plasma, I believe.
Messages in Urine.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if
I think she changed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Messages in Plasma now. But in any case, I'll try to remember to put her tag for her Instagram underneath this video. She shows under the microscope the amount of light that is in the crystalline forms in urine of people who drink it. And that is one of the most beautiful things that we can see, because we realize that we are crystalline on a microscopic level, and that crystalline structure within us is full of light, and that is that frequency. It's transmitting vibration and frequency. And then we go, I am beautiful at that level. And it just shifts the whole perception of who we are. And then also when we look at everyone around us and we go, everyone around us is like this too.
Yeah, you really see the potential in people. Like I know most people don't do this, but when I see people on the street, I'm like, wow, we all actually have that spark in us. It's always there, even in the person who's like struggling the most to even just get around and be mobile. That spark is still there. It's still in everybody. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Everyone's amazing. It's time for them to see it for themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. And but it's it's the fact that I guess it's partially this notion that something that society has pushed into a taboo area, into a disgust category.
Yes.
Well, it's very upsetting to the machine to have something like this go global
and be seen as beautiful. And that's the part where it's like we can talk about, I don't know, I think what I'm trying to say is just, it's something about the fact that urine shows us how beautiful we are within that I find so lovely, that this thing that's used to disgust in a disgust category actually shows us how beautiful we are. And beyond, because you can look into anybody's eyes and go, there's beauty in you. It doesn't matter what color their hair is, or their, like, whether they have a square shaped face or a round face or whatever, it doesn't matter, but you can see beauty in everybody anyway. But the fact that this taboo thing shows us the beauty in everybody like this is it's just another layer of wild. And yeah, in terms of sustaining yourself in a difficult time, I mean, beyond the fact that we know that people who are trapped in mines or by landslides or by earthquakes can survive on their urine for a very long time, all of us have also experienced, and this is a topic again for another video, but the more that we work with Shivambu as nourishment, that we require less food.
There's a brother named Thomas. I'm working on getting an interview with him. He lived off Shivambu exclusively for 1 year.
Wow.
You talk about allegedly Dave, who did a 30-day urine fast, and various other people done, different extended time periods. He did a whole year, and he's out and about talking about it now. And this is very, very inspiring, very reassuring that you can sustain yourself, you can thrive. And the way I look at fasting, not everybody sees it this way, but it's a way to take a vacation from food slavery. It's a way to take a vacation from the obsession and the addiction around food, and to be able to build a new relationship with it. So you get to recognize that your body doesn't require as much food. It doesn't require as many combinations of food. And that moves people more to live foods, raw foods, sprouting, and enzyme-rich mineral foods.
Yeah. And there's a simplification that comes with all of these practices, whether it's, we were talking in the community that I work with this week. I brought up the topic because I was into it myself this week. Like, we can talk about a fast, a cleanse, a detox, but ultimately it's about simplifying, cutting something out. And so it doesn't mean you have to stop everything the first time you encounter this information, but even just simplifying a little bit.
Yeah.
Anything. Say, and I mean, for people who understand whether it's Ramadan or Lent or whatever, there's a way to say, I'm going to take out sugar. I'm going to take out meat. I'm going to take out something and see what happens.
Yeah. Use your body as a laboratory. Your body is a great laboratory. Yeah.
I think fasting is really one of those things that just like everyone should experience in a way. No matter how long it is that whatever time frame, but to enter that, like to actually enter that space, like, okay, I'm going to make a commitment, and like, okay, I'm going to fast, like starting now. And then put your intention there and put your effort there, and just observe what all the stuff that goes on in your body and your emotions and just observe, and don't worry about like when you're going to eat or when you're not going to eat, and just like see what that journey is like. Because the first time I did a fast was, I didn't know about Shivambu. I was just doing it to go along with a friend who wanted to lose weight. I was like her support person. And what happened to me in that, I was like blown away. I couldn't believe how well I could function without all of this food. And it really was like the eye-opening for me, like my own body, and just allowing it to have all of these feelings of hunger, and just be like, okay, like food, calming myself down. Food is still gonna exist, like in an hour. Just give yourself another little hour, I was easy with myself. And I went 36 days. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
But uh it was like a different my body like metabolically like changed. I was never able to go back to eating the way it wasn't even a struggle. It was like my body was just like not having it anymore. And actually Megan and I were talking about that earlier, about how much my diet has changed, and when I overindulge now or go off the rails, how much I pay for that the next day, where my body's like, yeah, okay.
Now you know.
You knew that you didn't need that. You knew it, and you still went anyway. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. I'm coming to my 4-year anniversary here, and
Hey.
I can't believe like what I used to the volume that I used to eat, and what satisfies me and nourishes me, and now couldn't be any different.
Congratulations on 4 years.
Mhm.
And Brother Sage, did you start in 94 or 96?
1994.
Okay, so you're coming up, but you already had your anniversary.
And I wanted,
Like a big number. Yeah.
just so you know, my wife thought it was my own thing, my hobby, and I didn't have the enough experience, confidence, and certainty to bring it up in subject. And I wish I had, because she ends up dying of colon cancer, and it could have saved her life. But it wasn't foremost in my mind and in my practice until later.
Wow. Yeah. Then do you feel like it, well, in that sense, have you encountered a lot of people since then who have worked with colon cancer with you?
All kinds of cancer, all kinds of conditions.
Yeah.
And first thing out of my mouth is urine therapy. When they start telling me I've got this and that and the other thing, I said, "Have you heard about?" Well, first thing I ask, do you have an open mind?
Mm.
Because it's going to require that from what I'm about to suggest to you.
Yeah.
I will gently bring up in conversation and even point to, well, we knew this as when we were in the womb. I mean, there's different references I could bring into the conversation, but I'm not shy about it anymore.
Yeah.
And you find out when you're in person with people if you're holding back.
Yeah, that's very true. But that's also a key thing there. I mean, that question that you just mentioned, do you have an open mind? People generally want to think they have an open mind, so that's a great way to say, do you have an, if once they say they have an open mind, whatever you say next,
Yeah, that's like
they're going to try.
they're gonna say, yeah, oh yeah, I got an open mind.
Yeah. But they don't want to contradict themselves either.
Yeah.
So that's a great way in.
Yeah, there's that. And then if someone says everybody knows it's a waste product, it's whatever, whatever. And first thing out of my mouth is, well, where did you get that idea from?
Mm.
Because in these day and age, people just follow along with what everyone's doing. They follow the trend, they follow the guru, they follow the influencer, and they don't do their due diligence and use critical thinking to dig underneath it. So that's a good question to ask people.
Absolutely. And actually there's an interesting piece because that's something that what I hear from what you're saying too, like you've done this for many, many years as your, you know, the thing that you do and you share with people who are willing to listen and who are open and ready to hear it. But the idea in this area, and like when I started doing it, I had no intention of talking about it. I had no intention of sharing at, publicly. Of course, I couldn't keep my mouth shut when things were happening to me that were so positive. I did share, but I wasn't anticipating sharing widely. And I know, Anna, the same thing for you. This was not your intention to end up, sharing in a way where people come and ask questions. But um, when we're in this space, I still just feel like there's nothing to do with being an influencer. There's nothing to do with trying to sell anybody anything. This is a free, God-given, everybody has this. It's absolutely your birthright to use this, to know about this, to embrace this, to have the spiritual connection to yourself from this. And we just can't keep our mouth shut. It's not because our mouth shut. It's not that we necessarily ever thought that we'd be doing this, but we can't stop talking about it.
Yeah, it's so true. I actually, when I found out about Shivambu, I was coming out of like a 10-year social media blackout phase of my life. And yeah, when I started feeling it in my body, that's really what I felt compelled, like that something, anyway, I felt like it was my duty somehow to share my experience and create a space for other people to come and share their experience, because it's lonely. And sometimes when you go through something with Shivambu, when you're trying to heal something in your body, it's heavy stuff to do on your own, and it's nice to have friends around.
Yeah.
And especially a modality like this, where you can't always get that support you're looking for from your like close friends and family, and you end up having to find a connection elsewhere for it. So yeah, I felt like just because of my own experience and the experience that some of the people closest to me had with with this. Yeah, pretty mind blowing.
Yeah. And
We're kind of like missionaries for Shivambu, and we're not going to stand on the street corner and give them the good news from the holy book that you need to get.
I thought of getting like a little tiny like booklet, just
yeah.
something small, because sometimes I want to give something, like actually they're street performers. And instead
Yeah.
of giving them like money, like change, I want to give them like the information, or the idea, or like
Well, Brother Sage is a
plant
small
that seed.
booklet. I don't know if you're
The
Mm.
still,
handbook.
yeah, the really thin one that you came out with a couple of years ago.
Well, I have the handbook version of this,
The
which is it's abbreviated version of this.
right. So okay,
Mhm.
that's what I'm thinking of then. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the thin little one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Got a blue
And then I
cover.
thought of making like one, like what's the cartoon that all the kids love, Dragon Ball?
I
Is
don't
that
know.
it? And like anyway, making like a kids one, like just a few pages, like something like, oh, you get the magic thing, and I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
Well,
just
we
to
do
make
have
it
a
more intriguing.
we do have a sort of a kids book on urine therapy. I worked together with this author out there in California, and was lovely to be his executive producer. And the name of the book is called A Fall into Water. And it's the adventure of this brother and sister. You're going to love their names. Her name is Golden. His name is Oren. And it's 2025. They've got every health challenge in the world. They're really sick. Well, in the backyard is a well, and the well is always dry. One day they discover the well has full of water. While leaning over into the well, they fall into the water. And when they arise out of the water, they're taken back to the year 1625. And they discover this whole population of people who don't age, don't get sick, and don't die. And they finally were given the knowledge that it was their water, it was the gold water within them. And so these two characters, they get healed, and they have to struggle with, do we take this back to the modern world in
Oh
2025 and
wow.
start talking about it? I won't give it away, but it's a fun little adventure. And we never use the word urine throughout the whole book.
Mm,
Beautiful. Love
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Twilight language.
Yeah, coding.
Absolutely. Okay, so people can look for that as well. Where can they find that?
Go to Amazon, type in Brother Sage books.
Okay.
You'll get all the books there, including The Secrets of Youthing.
Yes. And if people don't know about that, that's a great one to look at. And the great gift that Leonard Orr gave to everyone by just sharing the things that he found and researched and everything too. So there's so much information, so much wonderful information that's available now that was not available before.
Yeah.
And that this is also, I think, I really want to thank the two of you for how you show up and how you share, and the gentleness that comes from the way that you share about Shivambu, so that it makes it very accessible for people to feel that they can try it, and that we're we're all very normal people, but we're also, in order to do this, you have to be an incredibly curious, exploratory person who's willing to go, oh, well, I'll see what happens. So we're all a little weird, and we're also very normal at the same time.
Yeah.
And today,
And
You
it's
won't
great.
be able to find us in the crowd, except for maybe we shine a little brighter, but yeah, we fit right in. We're like the
yeah,
superheroes, you can't really see us, but
I keep thinking after all this time, I've been at this 32 years, that my eyes are going to turn gold.
Right.
It hasn't happened, but I keep thinking that'll happen someday.
Well, according to the Damar Tantra, you should be levitating at this point, but
I think I might.
that's really wonderful to have both of you on with me. Anything as a closing thought or wrap up of the discussion today?
Uh, my best advice to everybody is trust your intuition. That's your guidance system. You don't have to reach out to any one of us to get the answers, which you can intuitively find out. And the simpler you can make it, the more fun you can have with it, the better will be your not only your results, but your peace of mind in your life.
Absolutely. Fantastic.
Yeah,
Yes.
I did all of that. And I'll just on a personal note, I'll add that this past year, at 51, I started taking up skateboarding, and I never thought I'd be saying that. And there is like, yeah, the Shivambu has really, this last 4 years, there's been a lot of rollback happening. And um, yeah, it's still rolling back and it's still playing out. And so there's a lot of good reasons to be curious.
Mm-hmm. I think because of the way that you framed that, what's coming to me is just also the sense of so many things that have happened even recently where other people have said maybe, well, that seems like it's really challenging. And I've thought about it and gone, yeah, I guess that there's a lot of steps in what I just did, or there's a lot going on in life in different ways. But there's this anchoring that also exists with Shivambu. There's this grounding, there's this coming back to self,
Yes.
which isn't in anything else that I do in that way. And I know from the three of you that like meditation is a really great tool and wonderful thing to do, and we all really love and would say meditation is great. And there's other practices we would all say are great too, but there's something about Shivambu and navigating what would otherwise potentially be a difficult situation, and it helps us do it with more ease and more, pun intended, flow.
Yes.
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 So
You said it there in the navigation. And
yes.
yeah, it helps you navigate life better, no matter what, like no matter on a skateboard, whatever it is, like, yeah, it really helps you to navigate
Yeah.
life so much better.
So we wish to all of you watching that you find some ease in navigation. Thank you for being with us. Wishing you all the best for your Shivambu journey. And thanks for joining us. And thank both of you for joining me today. Bye, everyone.
Absolutely. Aloha.